For Neil Heather, early frustrations with regional and district council regulations and planning galvanised him into becoming involved with farming advocacy through Federated Farmers. This year he was awarded the Outstanding Advocacy Award for his work as an influencer and leader for farmers and local councils. The award also recognised his passion for farming and sense of community.
The farm consists of a sheep and beef farm with an Angus stud, which is pretty unusual nowadays, having cows on a property. But, it's part of the farming that I enjoy, and it's not all about, making heaps of money. I feel that, I've got to enjoy doing what I'm doing as well. PC10 is a new environmental plan that the council has come up with for the Rotorua catchment, and they're wanting to get a fair amount of nitrogen out of the system, which they say is affecting Lake Rotorua and Rotowiti to some extent. So we're going to have to make reductions in our nitrogen leaching only, because that's what they're concentrating on. And the only way we really can do that is by reducing stocking rates. It's a marginal dry stock farm as it is at 220 effective areas. And with further restrictions with PC10, I think it's going to be actually more difficult for it to be profitable. And you certainly will have to reassess the farming business in the next few years to see what we'll do with it. I did a farm management plan with the regional council and identified hotspots which we duly fenced off and planted, and I planted in natives, so it was a tick for phosphorus because they were gullies, and it was a tick for biodiversity. But because Plan Change 10 singularly focuses on nitrogen, it actually increased my nitrogen leaching on the rest of my effective area because I did not decrease my stocking rate. It's frustrating, I think, because when you're dealing with planners, they actually have no idea about farming practices or what happens on farms. They don't understand farming at all. So you're actually, when you're involved in that kind of process, you have to educate them a bit and try and get them to understand how things work before you can actually move forward. There's 25 hectares of runoff off Mount Nongataha here, and it goes through a 4-pond system, as well as off our cattle yards, even though we don't use them a lot, but any runoff goes through those ponds. So in a high rainfall event, the water from the 25 hectares goes through those 4 ponds, and actually by the time it actually overflows the last pond to get to the river, all the sediment has dropped out. But once again, that doesn't count for anything either. I consider we've been doing the right thing for 30 years with fencing off the rivers. Even though it was part of a Kaituna catchment scheme, we still went ahead and did it. And since then, we've planted a lot of trees, especially natives. I'm pretty passionate about our natives, and one thing I have noticed is quite a few more wood pigeons back on the farm, which we hadn't seen before. And I've just got to re-look at it, because by rights I shouldn't be planting any more areas and retiring them and planting them in natives when it's going to increase the nitrogen loading on the rest of my farm. And with the proposed rules as they are, I'm not allowed to go above what I'm leaching with the allocation system that they came up with. I got involved with Feds about 15 years ago, and that was when they brought the rainfall tax here in Rotorua. So we got taxed for how much rain landed on our farm and washed down into the lakes. I was just pissed off about it. I thought, this is getting out of hand. The councils, and both the district and regional council, were just finding ways to, rate us for more and more bizarre little things. What kept me involved with Rotorua Taupo Feds was actually mainly the people. People in the local province were good. They were welcoming. They encouraged me to get involved, and I went on from there. Over the years, I'd say 20% of my time would be taken up with advocacy work. A lot of it, yes, at night, and that's what's really good about some of the staff, is they'll talk to you at night and when we're not working. when they shouldn't be working either. And just with some of the bizarre plans and whether it's a district plan or the regional plan or PC10, just some of the bizarre things that they want to put on farmers for no apparent reason. After the district plan, I had the policy staff out on farm for a barbecue once mediation was over, and we took them up the farm and explained some of the implications of their proposed rules, even though it was after the event, and it was kind of like a bit of a light bulb moment for them, and they then understood a little bit of where we were coming from. I got an award for Outstanding Advocacy Award. It's the first year these awards have been put up for Federated Farmers for the work that I've done in the Rotorua catchment and probably Federated Farmers on a wider scale. But, you're only as good as the team you've got around you, and actually the policy staff that are in feds and actually do all the hard work for you, but we're the ones that get recognised for it. I take my hat off to them because I think they do a brilliant job. They don't get any recognition. We get all the recognition, but they still do it.
This program was made with funding from New Zealand On Air.